Maybe that refreshes it. So if you click on one of the links, what we want today, and it's going to be tough because we've got so many participants. We've got 55 participants right now. And so 56. What we might have to do next week is maybe go to like 2 sessions, which is fine, but this is awesome. We miss seeing each other face to face, and it's just so different and so hard. So Nora and I had an idea that we wanted to talk with you about what's working and what's not, what's hot and what's not, what's working, what hasn't, because this has been a great learning curve for everyone. So we have a shared document that if you click on the link, you'll see it. And what I'll probably do is share my screen, but you can click on it and you can access it, and you can type into it as we talk about it, about what's good. So I'm going to pull up that document. Let me find the right one. Now I'm not finding it.
I'm in the right county, Savannah, Georgia. If you would like for me to pull it up, I will.
That would be awesome.
Okay, give me 1 second.
A little hot in Savannah, isn't it?
It is a little hot down here, but you know what? It's worth it.
I'm still letting people in.
Okay.
Also, make sure we get your attendance today. That was in the Google Doc. So let me refresh that chat.
So if you give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen, I would certainly appreciate it.
Okay, it's good.
I see Lee Walls participating today. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
So if you've ever used a shared doc, you know that everybody can type in at one time, and if you're not careful, you'll type over what someone else has written. And so, but just feel free to kind of scroll down. If you scroll down, you'll see the what's not, what is hot and what's not, and add in things, and you can add them in as we talk, and then we'll share this. Everybody will have access. You can have your own copy at the end. So AJ, you're typing now. How about saying what's hot?
Did you say it?
Or tell us as you talk.
Teachers here that have been using Remind the whole time, or any kind of feature like that, it has been pretty much solid throughout this whole thing.
So any of you that use the Remind app, that's been really good. And that is well, in the elementary level, some of them use it to contact parents. Somebody else share what you like. Go ahead, Lauren.
I've had a lot of success with posting mini lessons on Class Dojo with my ReadyGen and my Letterland, and then students have been submitting work to their student portfolios.
Were most of your parents engaged in it?
I actually have 100% of my students connected to Class Dojo, so even if they're not responding personally, they're mostly sending me private messages.
Okay, that's good. That's great.
Susie.
Yes.
Yesterday, Ms. Wood and I used Google Meet, Google Hangout with Meet, and we were actually able to record the mini lesson within the chat, which was nice. So within the meeting, so then we reposted it on Google Classroom so they could watch it if they weren't able to see it then. And then also requested access, which was nice, so you could see who requested, who saw it, and who didn't.
That's great. And that's right within Google Classroom, isn't it?
I think so. We had to, yeah, I know that you can seamlessly kind of insert it into Google Classroom. Yeah, so it's all in the same area, which is great. Google's the best.
I can't type on the document. Is there a reason why I can't? Am I not doing something right?
Let me go down to the chat and add you. You should be able to, because if you go into the chat and use that link, that's an editable link. You should be able to.
It won't, but it's not a link for me. It's just I don't get like nothing to click on.
Oh, copy it and take it over and put it in.
Where do I put it in? Just in an open?
Yeah, just in
Your browser.
a new tab.
Yeah.
I can't do anything with it either. I can't scroll down or anything.
Because we're looking at Nora's screen. Well, I'm looking at Nora's screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking at her screen instead of the actual document, then you're not going to be able to scroll up and down. But you
Yeah.
can go to the document and see the document itself, but you just won't see, all of us.
Okay.
You can come back to it. It takes a little, I'm still learning too. So, Lee, I see you're typing Padlet.
If you go to view options and get out of full screen, it will allow you to have your screen and see Nora's screen and everything.
I don't even know how to go there.
Yeah, view options is at the very top.
Do you want me to get out? Would that make it easier for everybody?
Well, it's kind of nice that we all can look, but just scroll down so we can see.
Okay.
Or if people are looking.
Okay, so since we've got a kind of a lull, I'll talk about the two that I had up there. I put the first two up there. I was in a PLC meeting with Rachel, and she shared these remote learning slides, and I put that as the first thing at the very top because I thought it was really cool. And you can click on that very first link, and you can go in and see, it's right here, it says remote learning slides. Rachel had some really cool ones, and she shared them with me, and I shared them with you guys. And then the next thing, of course, I did the changing your Zoom background. I know a lot of times I've seen teachers to try to move different places in their house or so forth. And I thought that was kind of cool to change your background. If you noticed that I had made mine today, I made it Savannah, just because this is something different. And maybe that might be a way that, you don't have to move to a different room in your house, or if you don't want your kids to see what, a certain room in your house looks like. Just something to think about, And I noticed, I'm looking at a couple other people have done it too. I'm looking at a few different people who have already done it. But it is cool. That's a little quick video. You can just click on that link. It'll show you a video how to do it. It's not hard. All right, so let's go to the next one. So we had somebody talk about Class Dojo and Seesaw. Can somebody tell me about Spelling City? What's so great and wonderful about that these days?
I did Spelling City to help them learn their sight words. And my kids, for the most part, are liking it. It actually has a part where they can do a spelling test on it, and then I'm actually able to grade it.
Now, do you have to pay for that, or is it something that's free now?
Excuse me?
Is it free?
Yes, it's through the county.
Okay. But it's a paid subscription. Is it free now at this current time?
I don't know, because I've always used it, so I don't know.
Some of the schools, elementary schools, do pay for it. Right, I do know.
It's actually free right now until the end of June. I've been using it for my students to do their interactive lesson, letterland lessons, so they can go on there and build words and do what we would normally be doing in the classroom on Spelling City.
Okay, thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome.
And AJ, you wrote down Flipgrid.
Yeah, I've got a few teachers here that are using Flipgrid. It's just getting easier because it's you can do it on your phone, so kids have their phone with them all the time. It just anything on their phone, basically, we've seen more interaction just because of the ease of access.
Look at all the different things we are using. That is what strikes me. Just scroll down that list. Nora. We are just using all kinds of things, and that is awesome. Somebody else share what's good.
Okay, sorry, I would type this in there, but I'm currently cutting up 40 pounds of chicken, so you'll have to excuse me on that. So
I'm Facebook. Miss Schaffner is the chef extraordinaire on Facebook.
I don't know about that. Anyways, so I am using Common Lit, just because I teach high school, so keep that in mind, because once they're out of this, oh, let's be creative idea. I've tried it. Right now they're in the let's see what I can get out of them phase. So they've been using Common Lit and have been really responsive to it, and that is just interactive reading. It has guided questions embedded. The readings are all across all grade levels. They actually have some in Spanish as well, which is useful. And then the questions are Common Core aligned, so that's something that has been kind of helpful, because they somewhat look like what our final exam questions would look like, even though I don't think we're doing that anymore for my grade level, but might be useful for someone else. So thanks, AJ, for typing that in. I appreciate you.
Just to piggyback on what Leslie just said, I also use ReadWorks, which is similar to Common Lit, and it's on grade level, and you can choose Lexile level as well. So my students have been pretty successful at using that, and it has the same kind of features where it has questions and guided questions and essay questions at the end of the reading.
I've also used the Common Lit that Leslie was talking about in Spanish. So it also has elementary grade level materials, and like, because my Spanish classes are not that advanced, a lot of times we do some of the elementary books.
Second grade at Mount Gilead, would you like to expand upon? You said you're recording Zoom meetings and posting them on Class Dojo. You want to talk about that?
We started Monday actually teaching. We start at 10 o'clock. We teach Letterland, reading, and math. We try to get it all done in an hour. And we record it while we're teaching, and then we can post. I upload it to my Google Drive, and then I attach the link to Dojo so they can click on it and watch it later.
That's cool. They're really enjoying it, and they like the two classes combined. They get to see their friends from the other class, so it's been good.
I'm high school. Can someone explain to me what a dojo is, or a Class Dojo?
Class Dojo it's like a behavior management. You can we use it to reward points for good behavior, take points away from people who are not following directions. But they have portfolios or they can add to their portfolio. They can add a video, they can add a picture, they can add a drawing, they can add text. There's messaging between you and the parents. So it's just a great communication tool and portfolio piece all in one.
I see that one of the next things is Zoom meetings with student instructions. Because has anybody had a great way that they have put out those instructions? I know that Angel was struggling with getting some students on Zoom. Who has had a great, wonderful idea for getting students on Zoom with good instructions?
Screencastify and share those videos. That works well.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hall?
Using the Screencastify to record how to get onto everything and sending the video to kids.
Yeah. And I saw Miss Samuels had written about that too from Candor, that Screencastify is great for recording lessons.
Yeah.
And you know, you can add that right to your Google, your Chrome. It's an extension, and just click it and it counts down and you just start. Very easy.
Hey, I see you're loving Google Slides. What you loving about Google Slides? Tell me about it.
are you talking
There was a teacher that said they're loving Google Slides. What do you love about it?
That's me. I like the fact that I hyperlink everything in there, so I have one slide set for the week, and it's only distributed one time. They can only view it, and they can click on any link to get to any website, and you can even link it back to an assignment in Google Classroom where other materials are stored that they use. So my students open one document, and they can go everywhere they need to go for the entire day. And I can click the lightning bolt on the top right-hand corner and see every student that's viewed that document that day or prior. I also like the fact that if I can link it to another Google Slide set that I have made where there's activities for them to do, and I have one slide for each child. I put an couple extra because somebody will accidentally delete or do something. But on that slide, instead of viewing it, they can actually be a collaborator, and they write or type on those slides or drag and drop activities. And so I can open one document, and I can view everybody's work from one document.
Nora and I have seen a couple of teachers use those slides as their LMS, and actually, you know, here's today's schedule, or, you know, this is your activities for today.
I think that we're up to the YouTube channel. Somebody tell me about, you said I'm using my YouTube channel mostly because my students have accounts. Amen. What are you doing with YouTube, Mr. T?
Well, the nice thing about the YouTube platform is most students are already watching YouTube on a regular basis. They have particular stars they like to follow. And if you tap into that kind of mindset with them, they all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is not just my teacher. There's a big YouTuber on here. And so they're starting to subscribe. They're starting to follow. Their parents are subscribing and following. So whenever I put something up in Google Classroom, I can actually just link the video straight there, so they don't even have to go to YouTube. It just plays through because Google and YouTube are partners. So the video plays through there. The trick with it, though, is when you do it, you need to contact technology to get them to unblock your content, because if you don't have that cleared, it's going to give them all kinds of block messages. Fortunately for me, technology and I figured out a way to make my channel an open source through educational means. So anytime I post something, it's just going straight to them. There's none of that blocking feature. And you can do the YouTube live similar to your Zoom. You won't see your students, but they can see you actively live, and they can participate with you in a live chat. And then that can be recorded and posted later as well. So I've enjoyed that platform more for my recorded pieces, because there's a lot more creativeness I can do with the custom work in the video than just recording the Zoom session from there.
And don't forget with YouTube, I love YouTube as far as like having a YouTube video. If you have a long video and it's not going to upload, I know a lot of people are making long videos. You have to upload them to your YouTube channel, and then all you got to do is send them the link. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. So we've got, my son is using, oh, he's learning math facts. Somebody tell me about that one.
I'm a speech pathologist, but my son is using Reflex Math, and his school has him signed up with an account. And right now they have a 60-day free trial for teachers for up to 35 students. He works on addition facts, subtraction facts. They will do multiplication facts. And then once they reach this full green circle, which takes about 20 to 30 minutes, they get to go to a store and buy different math fact games that they get to play as a reward after they do their math facts for that day. He really likes it, and I feel like he's catching on a lot faster just because it's something fun to do. And his teachers challenged him to do it 20 minutes a day every day until he can get a green circle every day, and it's fun for him.
Thank you for sharing. We're going right on to the next one. Keeping my students. Oh, I'm using QUIL. What is that? Tell me about that one.
QUIA is what I'm using with my speech students, but it's also for academics as well. It ranges from kindergarten all the way to high school biology. It's science-based, it's articulation-based, it's language, it's reading. And they have like battleship games and concentration and math, and you can make your own games up, or you can use games that are already created by other teachers. And it's free as well until the end of June.
I use the Kia also with my students, and it's like she says, because they can do like even Jeopardy games and stuff on there to help learn content and vocabulary.
All right, we're on to Epic Books. Tell me about Epic Books. Why is it wonderful?
Me and Ms. Batten are using Epic Books to do a book study, and what it is it's a big website full of books and novels from elementary up through middle school. So we assigned it to our classes. The one we're doing is called Ungifted, and so they're reading so many chapters a day, and they can flip through it and they can flip back and forth like a regular book. And then we just add that into our Canvas with the questions and stuff. And then at the end, we're going to have some kind of project at the end for them to do for their book study. And we put different discussions and stuff involved, like every few chapters, and have them do near pods and just little things with it. But it was a great way to get them to have that novel so that they could read it.
Okay, is there anything up top that I missed that anybody else wants to share of what's hot? Because let's focus on the positive for at least the first 3 more minutes, and then we'll focus on trying to troubleshoot some of these what's not. Did I miss something up here?
I have one, and that's Blend Space. I use it to quickly add in YouTube links or even my own activities. Not that I really send it to the child, but I use it to drag and drop and order them all to quickly put it in when I'm ready to finish my planning for the week, for the following week, to quickly add those links as hyperlinks in my slide show for the class for the week.
Several people have also said, mentioned Nearpod, and I see Edpuzzle. Somebody wants to speak to that?
I'll talk a little bit about the Nearpod because we've done that. It's like an interactive kind of PowerPoint where they could, you can insert videos, they could draw pictures, you could do like a little poll, you can insert all these different activities to go with whatever topic you are, where it's not boring, it's just all kind of different things that you can include with it. So it's like an interactive PowerPoint on steroids kind of thing. It's pretty interesting for the kids to do.
I've been using Edpuzzle about once a week, and basically it's a video where you insert questions into the video, and then they get scored on the questions and how well they answer the questions.
And you can, I know that in Edpuzzle, you can make it so a student cannot continue the video till they've responded to the question. So they can't pretend like they watched it.
And you do not have to create your own Edpuzzle. There's lots and lots of them out there and from a variety of sources. It's a really neat website to explore.
I'll piggyback on that. I just started using Edpuzzle, and I went to just some random literary site that had a video, and I put it into Edpuzzle because I was like, well, I need to make my own questions. And there were questions already there. It was made for me. I didn't even have to do anything. So I would say that's beneficial. Can I ask a question though? For those of you that are using Google Classroom as your LMS, do you like that better than Canvas? Like, can anybody give me some feedback? Because I've heard some people say, well, I'd just rather use Google Classroom. It's more streamlined.
Leslie, I like it a lot better. To me, it's just easier to integrate things. I mean, of course, I'm old school, and all this technology at my age is overwhelming. But to me, I did Canvas a couple of years ago, but then I talked to Nora, and she didn't. I said, Nora, I started using Google Classroom, and to me, it's just easier to put things, plug things in, and it seems like it collaborates with so many other different programs that I just find it easier, but that's just me.
No, it is easier for me as well. It's a whole lot user friendly.
Okay, I have a question on that then. With Canvas, I know you can sync your grades into PowerSchool. Can you do any of that with the Google Classroom, or do you still have to hand put them into PowerSchool?
You still have to put them in.
Okay.
Yeah, and Google Classroom is free, and we pay for Canvas. So what I find is, yes, Canvas is harder to navigate, and that's why a lot of lower grades do not use it. But you can it's easier to organize your materials by class. It's just a little more organizational. But I took a class, an online class not long ago, that helped me learn to organize my Google Classroom a little better. So there are some ways to organize Google Classroom better. They all are improving all the time. And there are plenty of teachers that use both. And there are teachers that use, I've had at all grade levels use Seesaw, Google Classroom, and even Canvas. I know Angela Dawkins at Greenridge taught 3rd grade, and they used Canvas. So.
Somebody noticed I mentioned an oldie but a goodie, Blend Space. We haven't talked about Blend Space in a long time, but I love that one. Anybody want to elaborate on that?
I think that's what Angel had was talking about earlier.
That's right.
Okay, so that's about half our time. We focused on things that are going well. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I noticed Kelly Kennedy wrote about Google Jamboard. Kelly, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. This morning, it was bright and early. There was a session from NC Ties that said jamming with Jamboard, and I just had no idea what it was. It's actually a virtual whiteboard. It is absolutely amazing. To me, one of the downfalls of Zoom is that I can project my screen, but because I have a computer, I can't annotate on it the way I want to, and I can't have, like, you can input sticky notes on it, you can embed files on it, you can annotate, you can, it's absolutely amazing. And then the great thing about Jamboard is that you can also use Flipgrid. If anybody's used Flipgrid, there's a shorts part on there. It says short. It's just a quick video, kind of like Screencastify. But you can actually put yourself in the Jamboard through Flipgrid, which is, I know it's kind of embedded within embedded and then embedded again. I know that's a lot to take in, but it is absolutely amazing. So Susie and I are collaborating on that right now just to try to see how I can use it, because I think it's probably the most seamless thing that I've seen as far as showing your computer and annotating and inserting Google files. And you even has a laser pointer. So if you're showing something on the screen, you can use a laser pointer to show it. To me, it was absolutely everything that I've wanted to use, but just haven't had everything in the same place. So,
Kelly,
yeah.
is that something that I can project something like a problem on the computer up on my screen, and can I actually work out the math problem? I teach high school math. Would I be able to actually work out the math problem? I don't want them to see me, but I want them to see what the problem I'm actually working out.
Let me stop you right there, because you can actually put it on the screen, and you can add kid collaborators, and they can do it on their screen.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, so I will say, I know Nora's like, what? Yeah. So yeah, if you're doing, like, you could actually post the problem. You can even type it in a Google document and insert the Google document on your board. And you can annotate over on the side. You can highlight like certain parts that if you were talking about a keyword or an important piece of information, and then you can actually take your pencil. You can use a stylus as well, but you can use it on a tablet if you want to. The only downfall right now that I'm seeing is that there's a web version, which is free, and then there's an app version. The app version has all the functionality. You can annotate, laser, type. You can even write on the screen, or however you want to do it, and it will turn it into text, which is text, I don't know, some sort of text function. You can insert pre-drawn, things. If you're doing fractions, you can even insert, fractional bars inside or whatever. But the web version doesn't have all the functions. So I think Susie and I are trying to figure out how we can
figure that out. But I definitely think it would work for high school.
Because I was playing with the extension. There's a Google Chrome extension, and it was very limited. And then when I went to research, it looks like there's money involved, which is surprising for Google. But who knows what it'll be down the line?
Yeah, Kelly, I definitely think we could get it there. Kelly, do you have the presentation that y'all did today? Can we have a copy of it? Can we have a link for it? Absolutely. Can you put it in there? I would love to. I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's another one too now called whiteboard.f as in Friday, whiteboard.fi. And the cool one about this is the kids, they don't have to sign on. They just put in like your code, BTU or B2U, whatever, and then they like configure the problem on their own, and everybody else doesn't have to see it. Sort of like a Nearpod, but it's really simple and you don't have to log on and stuff. But that'll be a good PD down the line. Whiteboards. Well, let's look at
anything else that's what's hot. Anything else that's hot? Because I just wanted to have some time to troubleshoot anything that's not hot.
And we'll have the notes to look over.
All right, Susie, you want to take the lead on what's not hot?
Well, you know, Zoom, and there's some places that don't allow Zoom, but they've upped their privacy settings. And it just seems like if your internet isn't particularly great, which my Wi-Fi is not always great, that it can just, you know, you can't get on, or you're on, off. So I don't know. Some of you could speak right now if you've had better luck with Google Hangouts, Google Meet, or even I think the high school East is starting to do Microsoft Team meetings. Hey, Linda.
Hey.
So have any of you all had better luck with something else instead of Zoom?
Linda is about to leave. Does anybody have a question for somebody from the IT department? I'm gonna let her sit in my chair for like 2 seconds. Does anybody have a question for Linda? Or did you just want to see her face? I can't stand near her.
And some people didn't want to see my face.
Hi, Linda.
Say hi.
We've got 10 questions. There you go.
I just said God bless the IT department.
Linda,
yes,
what did you do, Linda?
I'm sorry, why are you speaking to me, Linda Lamp?
Yes.
It's Linda. Linda in the IT department. If she's sitting here,
Hey,
To
Linda,
Linda.
what about kids with broken computer screens?
Go
Not my personal child, not me.
But like students in your classroom, Jenna?
Yes, ma'am.
Do a work order. Are you still at MLA or are you back at Green Ridge?
Green Ridge.
So do a work order, and whoever their technician is, they'll see it and do what I did today. I set up a time and almost like scheduled kids to meet with me, so I didn't have the entire school coming out to see me.
Okay, yeah, because we have 2 in 5th grade right now with broken screens.
But you can go to the tip web like y'all done in the past through the link that's on Green Ridge or whichever school. Do a work order, include the kid's name in it. And if you've got a phone number or something for a contact, do that as well. That helps the IT person. And that way they can make an effort to contact the parent like I did.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have a question for Linda before she runs out the door? All right. You want to keep on going down the list, Susie? You ready?
No one's responded. Anybody have better luck with another video platform than Zoom? Are you using anything different?
Miss Lily tried the Google Meets yesterday for the first time. It was a little easier getting into, but unfortunately only had Miss Lily, Miss Swanky, myself, and 1 student. But we're hoping for more kids tomorrow when we try it again.
Okay. I think one problem is just some kids, some just aren't doing anything.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, I have 78 kids, and only 5 have not done anything online. Everything I've done is online. But now I'm saying done something. They might have only done one assignment out of 40, but because mine are real short assignments, like 4 questions and 5 questions at a time. But some of them are just choosing not to do anything lately. And I've called parents. That helps for a day or two, and then it gets right back. But I noticed somebody put on here, the students are not reading their email, and that's what I'm getting, because I send in Remind and in their email, I send a Google Doc with notes, and then I give assignments on Khan Academy because they can redo those and get different questions as many times as they want to. But they're not taking the time to read the notes and let's study the notes before they do the problem. So they're not checking their email like they should. I agree with whoever posted that.
So that's the problem. Anybody that's having success, how are you having success? How are you resolving that problem?
Nora, I was the one that posted the part about kids not reading their emails, but the only way I've been able to get anywhere with them is to turn around and call them or text them, you know, just immediately after they've missed something, to try and get them to, you know, realize that they do need to check it. Now, I'm not being real successful, but, you know, it's helped a little bit.
Okay, Linda just brought up a great point. I'm glad she was still sitting here. She said some of them,
the high school kids back around October, November of last semester were prompted to change their password, but they were only prompted to change their password for their computer if they've restarted their computer. So they may not be able to access their email because until they do that, change their password on the computer, their emails were disabled kind of by the old password, their date of birth. That's for high school only. So they may need to go to any campus in the system, even the county office, connect to the wireless, do a couple of restarts, and then they'll be able to get to Google Docs as well as their email.
Okay. Same issue for those K2 students who checked out devices. When they start the device, they need to be at a campus, and they may need to restart it a couple of times.
Nora, I have a second webinar that starts in a few minutes I have to go to. Do I have to sign something on here somewhere?
No, ma'am, you're good. And we're actually making it a recording so you can catch the last 15 minutes. You're good.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I've noticed Ms. Little was asking well, a couple of things. One is, can you do it when you do a Zoom meeting? Can you use the same one over and over, or do you have to create a new one each time? You can set a meeting for the same time each week. I'm not sure how the password works, though. I think you have to basically do a new one each time. AJ, are you still on here, or can someone?
I actually figured out the other day by accident you can change your password. So I've changed mine to a password that all of our kids know and can get into easier, and that's made it a lot easier because it'll always be the same password every time.
I figured out how to get around the password thing altogether. Like, my password is embedded in my link, and I added my link to an image and uploaded the image to Google Classroom, and it never changes. They click that link, and as long as I have Zoom running, they're in.
Susie and Nora.
Hey.
Is there any way that you can get the county office or Linda to send out that what she just said about going to going to restart their computers? Because Miss McLean has been sending out a whole bunch of messages. There are students that have done no work at their MCC classes. She's been sending out a lot of stuff that kids are really messing up about not getting their email. I'm not sure everybody, I'd never even heard that. My child's in high school, so.
They received a message about it, but I certainly don't mind asking Linda to send it out. I don't mind.
Yeah, I meant because the message doesn't say we know you can't get your email. I mean, you know.
Well, and teachers could include that in when they talk with parents occasionally.
Right.
I think, Nora, we were supposed to have our students restart their computers after this was done. Remember, didn't you send, somebody sent, you or Linda one, sent out an email, and for several days straight, every period, I had my kids restart it to make sure. So most of mine know that they could have done that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, my daughter's is working fine, but you know, I just didn't know how widespread that was.
I have a question for Susie and Nora. I teach second grade, and I don't know which students may have gone to the high school to check out a device. Is there a record of that? I don't know if our school recorded that, or I have no idea who has one and who didn't from the school.
I can already tell you, I was at West Montgomery when they came that day. We had maybe 10. So yeah, Linda's got a list, but it's not many. And I don't remember it being any of yours. There weren't very many at all. I don't know about the east side, but on the west side, we didn't have many K2 to come and check them out.
I'm pretty sure we were less than 20 on the east side, if I remember correctly.
There weren't many. Another question, Miss Little, why don't you talk about that issue?
I do class dojo, so most of our kindergartners, the parents are using their iPhones to connect to dojo, and so I don't know if they are allowing them to watch the videos, but most of the time the parents are doing the work. Now I do go to directly to message them on their cell phones to get them to have the students, you know, take pictures of work and send it through my text message. But I still know that the parents are doing that also. So I don't really know if the students are actually watching the videos or the parents, or if the parents are letting them watch the videos. But I know the parents are doing some of the work.
I want to say something. When I go on to Zoom, she was talking about their parents. My parents are letting their students use Zoom to get on, using their iPhones to get on Zoom. My students have, and thankfully I have a total of 7 students who are able to connect with me in my Zoom time at 10:30 in the mornings. But it's due to the fact that they are allowed to use their parents' Zoom, their parents' cell phones. They keep telling me that they're not able to connect with me on Zoom through their computer, and I don't know what else. I don't know what to do with that.
Open in browser. They can with their school computer. There is directions. Rodney sent them out. Susie's got them, I'm sure. But over on the side, they can't download the app, but they have to open in the browser.
They just type in zoom.com and go to it, and then just click join a meeting. And what they try to do is download Zoom. And,
right. That's what I try to tell them.
Yeah.
And unless I'm right in front of them, they can't understand that. You know, it's like I have to walk them through, which, you know, I understand. They're only in 3rd grade. But some of y'all were talking about how you didn't have any students participate, or they were, and now they're not. I had a parent to dojo me last night and said she could not get her daughter to do anything now, and she wants to talk back to her. So I simply, you know, just wrote her a heartfelt message and told her how smart she was, and that how even though we weren't in our school building and in those 4 walls of our classroom, this was still not a time that she could lag around, and that she was a very smart student, and that I needed her to be showing that through what I'm assigning. And I told her, I said, not only am I seeing it, but of the principal and the IF are seeing it. So they're seeing the progress that you make, whether you're not making any or you are. And I said, you are better than that. And I said, please stop talking back to the people who love you and want to see you do well in life, because they're only pushing you because they know you can do better. And then she emailed me or dojoed me back and said, okay, Miss Taylor, I will do my work. But, you know, sometimes you just have to come down to earth with them and say what you feel.
To the one who is having issues
with parents doing the work for them on Class Dojo. Miss Little, I think that was you. One thing that I've had a lot of success with several of my students, when I do my Ready Gen lesson and I post the close read questions for them to do, I ask them to take a picture of their writing. So instead of typing in their response, they have to write it down on a piece of paper and then have a picture of them with it uploaded to their portfolio. And then you can kind of tell more whether it's their handwriting or their child's handwriting.
I like that.
Miss Little, I have mine to do the same thing when they're answering any of my questions, so that I can see. But I have them to do it through Seesaw, and that way I can approve it or not.
But just remember that K2 don't have the devices, so even though I got, except for 2 students that are on Class Dojo, most of those are using their parents' iPhone.
Yeah, that's been one of my issues with Class Dojo and Seesaw is, you know, they don't have their devices for first grade, and if their parent doesn't let them do their phones at home, then they're not getting work completed for K2.
Yeah.
We meetings, and it's the parents that are there able to help them. But that's why we record it, so they can watch it later. If parents work during the day and are home in the evenings, they can still watch it and keep caught up with us. Sorry, my cat is driving everybody crazy today. Sorry. She just got out of surgery yesterday, so she's being lovey.
We like the animals.
You won't leave my side since she got home yesterday.
Mr. Manus, I know you do a lot of stuff on Facebook. You know, you have your Kinder Kitties. What has your participation been like?
You're muted.
Well, I have been in contact. I've used Facebook and Seesaw since school started, so this has really not been a huge transition for my parents and kids, that they already are familiar with what I'm using. But one reason I believe that I've had so much success is that on my school Facebook, I like every day, you know, shout out to the people who I see doing happy numbers, or I have a whole little thing about, you know, our epic readers for the day. And when I started that, I only had a few people doing it. But then because so many of my parents are on Facebook, they want to see their kids' name and picture up on Facebook. And so I really account for my success in that I'm, you know, rewarding them. In kindergarten, they need recognition every 5 minutes. And, you know, they're not getting that. And so at least once a day, they're seeing Mr. Manus sees what they're doing. And I can't even tell you every week, if they're not using Seesaw and things where I can get pictures from them, their parents are texting me pictures of them working. But it's just because I recognize them out there in the world and they are working their behinds off. I mean, my kids, some of them are doing clever at home, and, you know, I can tell their parents are helping them because, you know, they've gone up so many levels in clever now. But, you know, just recognize them, what they're doing, and their mamas and daddies want to see, you know, they want to see them out there.
I have a question about the iReady. I'm having parents say they're having trouble getting on iReady using a cell phone. Is there a trick to it?
The kids who are using their phones, they are not doing clever. So I'm not sure. Nobody's mentioned to me. The only ones I know who are able to use clever actually have a device or a laptop. So I'm not sure about the phone.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
My students that were having issues with using iReady on the phone, they were downloading the wrong app from the App Store. They have to make sure that they're downloading the Clever app. So if they search iReady for students, it'll be the first one that pops up, and then it'll give them the option to scan their QR code.
What they don't have their QR codes with them?
I downloaded mine onto my phone and my computer, and then just cropped each one individual and sent it to them through Class Dojo.
Yeah, that's what I did too. I just, all the little QR codes that we used in class, I just copied them, and the parents are scanning them in by their phones, and it worked fine.
So Lauren, what do they have to search for under when they're doing that? I was trying to write it down.
It's iReady for Students app, APP, and then that should bring up, the first one will be Clever, and they should recognize it. But once they did that, mine had no issues after that.
And then they just use their Clever badge?
Yes, ma'am.
Can they use their login? Because my kids know their actual logins.
I'm not aware with that. Mine are so used to using the QR code but I'm sure there's probably a way for them to do it.
Lauren, is that just for the phone or?
Phone or tablet.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, as we get ready to wind it up here, first I want to thank everybody, and I never anticipated so much participation. So going ahead to next week, I think we'll divide up into 2 groups, like an elementary and secondary. If you have other ideas, please feel free to email us. And we're going to talk about video and tips, what's working there, what's not, and some tips on uploading videos. That's been kind of problematic. And so we look forward. I mean, we learn so much from each other, and I have learned so much from all of you as we have all gone through and tried things. You know, we've had to. And I just wish the public could see and realize, and our lawmakers, how much y'all are doing to make an impact on students. Does anybody have a great feel-good story you'd like to close with today?
And don't forget to take it back old school. You can pick up a phone and call those kids, and they really want to hear your voice.
Well, Nora?
I can't think of anything unless, like I said, unless anybody else has a really good student success story they'd like to share. We really appreciate it. You will be getting out a link for next week, the same one that we had for this. And like I said, we'll try to divide up into 2 groups. And that way, it encourages everybody to talk. And we'll send out the link for this. We'll send it out to everybody. Where our shared document, just sharing what's going on. And of course, since you attended, you're going to get some CEU credit for coming. Woohoo! That's the easiest, painless PD you've done all year, right?
Hey, Nora, I have a question. Another statement is, they were saying that if we turn on the closed caption down at the bottom, that's the way our students can read what we're saying if they don't, pick up on everything. How do we get that closed caption to come up? Is it something that has to be paid for when we buy?
I know it's a setting, but we can certainly research it and send it out.
Okay, I appreciate that, because that's another way to get our kids to read. Is when we're talking, that closed caption, it's a ticker and it goes at the bottom all the time. So
not only that, but for our ELL kids.
I wonder if we can get it in the free version. I don't know.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody, and it's so good to see everybody. I miss everybody.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing. Keep sharing your pictures and keep smiling, and see you next week, I hope.
Same time, Susie?
Same bat channel. Yeah. We'll probably do a 1 and a 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll probably do maybe elementary at 1 o'clock and then secondary at 2 o'clock.
On Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Reed, I have a question.
Okay.
Ms. Reed, Ms. Reed, my question is, if we've already signed up for the one next week, with you dividing it into 2 groups, would we have to re-sign up?
No, you're good. We'll just send you a different link.
Yeah, and you know what? If you want to do both of them, just to hear the different views, that's on you, But, you know, in the interest of your time, you probably won't, but you do get to hear different ideas from the different grade levels. And I like also the way y'all were helping each other out in the chat. You know, it didn't all come to light, but there's a lot of good chats going in. So the sign in is good. We got it on the Google Doc and we got you here. I got screenshots, so you're all good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.